All right, welcome back. We have recorded the vocal, we have comped the vocal, we have timed the vocal, we have cleaned the vocal. Now, I think one of the coolest, most fun, most important imperative parts, the one that will take the most practice, is tuning the vocal. So, I hate an overtuned vocal. I hate it. I think you want it to sound very natural, so I'm going to show you what I do on a vocal. So, come on into the little Zoom machine. I'm going to make 2 audio tracks. Bus 33, input bus 33. I'm going to call this track temp, and then because like engineers have like shitty senses of humor, I call this one tuna, because it's the track that we tune. So tuna lead. I'm going to add a space because I already added those auxiliaries that we're not using. But what I'm going to do is, so this, I'm going to solo safe this by hitting Command S, and I'm going to put this into input mode, in record mode, and I'm going to copy an EQ and a compressor to this track, and what I'm going to put on this track is auto-tune. So we're going to go to pitch shift, auto-tune 8.1. So this is the blanket auto-tune. This is what it always looks like. What we're going to do is we're going to go into graphical mode. So we're going to click that, and what we're going to do is we're going to use this mode. So this mode, I'm going to also take off time control. I don't time the vocal in here. I don't do anything like that. We're going to go to alto tenor, and we're going to track this around 25 or so. This might move depending on how gritty the vocal gets. I keep it at C chromatic because I like to see all the notes. So this is your piano roll here. This plugin doesn't do, like, you can't hear the pitch on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up like that. I'm going to get out of here for a second. What we're going to do is I'm going to hold down Control. We're going to take Vox 1 untuned, and we're going to drag it down. Actually, we're going to do one more thing first. We're going to duplicate it, and we're just going to call this lead Vox 1. Duplicate, lead Vox 2. Then we're going to take this, we're going to hold down Control. What happens is holding down Control means that you won't lose your place. So you can move this left to right. It will only go up and down. It will not go left and right. So that's a fail-safe mode to move waveforms without ruining your track, and all your friends will hate you. So you just Control, move it down there. And so this is our temporary track, and this is our recorded track. So we're going to record into this. So I'm going to open this up. I like to leave this vocal super loud because I want to hear every little nuance, because auto-tune can be glitchy. All tuning programs can be really glitchy if you let it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up auto-tune. I'm going to hit this thing called track. And what we're going to do, we're just going to pick, let's just go small. Let's do the first few lines.
I always felt uneasy when we weren't in the same place. Taken back by the feeling that this could all go away. She said, baby, I would never do what those girls do. Funny how I'd only hear that when it benefited you.
Okay, we're gonna stop there. I love it being loud. The artist hates this part, and I don't have reverb on it. I don't have effects on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit play.
I always felt
cool. So we're already starting out. So I'm going to zoom this in, zoom this out. So first note. We're going to hit this mode, and we click twice.
I always felt uneasy.
This is kind of an interesting note, because it's I always, so we might want to try that.
I always felt.
So that was a wrong note, so it's actually right here. So we're going to try this.
I always felt.
Cool, so that sounds a lot more natural.
I always felt.
So now we're going to go back up here. And so he's really close. And so this is what we do. Don't worry about the attacks as much. So we're going to line this up here. And then what we're going to do here with this vibrato, so check it out.
I always felt uneasy.
So let's fix this, and we're going to take this. We're going to make the line, but if you do it like this.
I always felt uneasy
It sounds a little warbly. So what I'm gonna do is take this retune speed and I'm gonna back it off to about 40-ish.
I always felt uneasy.
Cool, that sounds a lot better. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sharpen it just the slightest amount with this little pointer guy.
I always felt uneasy when
I always feel like a painter. That's why I kind of ended up sounding like Bob Ross. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna move this up a little bit sharp.
I always felt uneasy.
Cool, moving on.
I always felt uneasy when we weren't.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to here. And there are quick keys. I made 1, this guy. 2 is make note. I'm gonna undo that. So there's certain things I made. So if you see me flicking around, just pay attention to these tools right here. So I'm gonna avoid the attack a little bit and let it be natural. Back this off.
When we weren't in the same place.
Actually, now I wanna tighten it a little more.
When we weren't in the same.
So this is a little sharp. This is a little sharp, and this is a little sharp. So let me show you though, I'm gonna be very careful with this.
When we weren't in the same place.
So he had a really nice vibrato. He just started to kind of go sharper with it. So if you just do this.
When we weren't in the same place.
It sounds cool, but what I'm gonna do is probably back it off a little. I wanna get, it's like, I don't wanna tune it. It's almost like intonating. It's almost like catching it. I wanna keep the natural nuances of it without warping it.
When we weren't in the same place.
I love that, so we're gonna move on.
Taking back.
So this sounds a little sharp, so it sounds like it's here.
Taking back.
Cool, so now we're gonna move up. And this is subtle, but just do this note right here.
Taken back by the
So this is sharp, so we're gonna bring that in, and I might even bring this in a little.
Taken back by the feeling.
So this retune speed is really how tuned you want it to sound. And this is total preference, there's no right or wrong. I'm just showing you what I do.
Taken back by the feeling.
So this ling is here.
Taken back by the feeling.
So I don't like that as much, so I'm gonna move it.
Taken back by the feeling.
I don't really like how this is vibing yet, so I'm just gonna keep.
Taken back by the feeling.
So I might try and then moving this up.
Taken back by the feeling that this could.
It's getting better, so I'm gonna even move this up.
Taken back by the feeling that this could all go.
So even this is a little bit, so I might even try straightening it out. Maybe just needs a little bit more love. And then moving that up.
Taken back by the feeling that this.
Cool, it's actually starting to sound better, so I'm gonna move this up. And it's all about this line. Don't worry about, you can't see my finger, but don't worry about this. Worry about that.
Taken back by the feeling that this could all.
Cool, I like that, so moving on.
Taken back by the feeling that this could all.
Cool, so this is sharp. I'm gonna bring this till back down.
That this could all go.
So we're gonna click here.
That this could all go. That this could all go.
Cool, so then we have this. So this is another thing you wanna be careful for, is this run. He goes, could all go away, way. So you wanna make sure that you don't fuck that up.
That this could all go away.
So you wanna keep that natural. So I'm gonna just resolve this note first. I'm gonna just make it a little bit more closed in. I'm gonna tighten it.
That this could all go away.
Cool, so I'm gonna move this here. I heard that. I'm probably gonna leave this guy alone. I think I'm gonna leave it alone.
That this could all go away. That this could all go away.
Cool, I'm gonna leave it like that. It's gonna sound natural. He sang it great.
The feeling that this could all go away. She said, baby, I would.
Okay, so now we're gonna go into this faster part.
She said, baby.
Cool, so I wanna really nail these notes. She said, baby, I would. So you're gonna help with the attack. Where you go?
She said, baby, I would.
So we're gonna, oh, I see what happened, okay.
She said, baby.
Again, I'm gonna close in on this. Even though it's really close, I just want it to be really tight.
She said, baby, I would.
So this is a little sharp here, and I might even make this real tight because I want it to be kind of percussive.
She said, baby, I would never.
I'm gonna bring this down. I want to be a little bit more careful of the attack, otherwise it's gonna sound tuned.
She said, baby, I would never.
And I actually really like this. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a tightening.
She said, baby, I would never.
And this ver is sharp. So I'm gonna do is grab this with that little I-beam. I'm gonna pull this down.
Do it. She said, baby, I would never do it.
Cool. So I like how that sounds.
She said, baby, I would never do it those.
And the good news is when you have it this loud and exposed, it's gonna sound great when it's wet and with reverb and in the track. So if it sounds amazing at this volume, you're good.
Do what those girls.
And so I'm not worried about the attack. Fucking with the attack is gonna ruin it. So I'm gonna just do what's needed.
Do what those girls do.
Cool, so then we got this little warbly guy here. I'm gonna take the same concept with vibrato. Be careful with vibrato. That's a challenge you're gonna run into, and you just have to try it.
Do what those girls do.
So I'm gonna iron it out here. I'm gonna move this up.
Do what those girls do. Funny how.
All right, we're moving on.
Funny how.
It's a little bit sharp.
Funny how I don't.
And this kind of has a run right here, so I'm not gonna touch it.
Funny how I don't hear.
I'm just gonna help tighten it up a little because it sounds really cool. So I'm gonna take this and take the natural curve and just pitch. You're essentially just pitch shifting like this.
Funny how I don't hear that.
And I like this, hear that. You can hear it's kind of like a that instead of hear that. It's got personality, so don't grab the beginning, just grab it here.
Funny how I don't hear that when.
Otherwise, if you do it like this,
Hear that when it benefits.
you're tuning it. It sounds overtuned. So only do this part.
Hear that when it.
That sounds really natural.
Hear that when it benefited you.
This is a little sharp. I can see the melody here, so I'm just checking it out.
Hear that when it benefited you.
And this, I might even just add a little bit more wiggle.
Hear that when it benefited you.
Awesome, so that's our verse. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, what I call bury the evidence. We're gonna record it. I should also add, this is the time while you're recording where you can double check and make sure you're happy with it. Because if you can always stop, you can always keep what you did and fix one little part, so you're just burying the evidence.
I always felt uneasy when we weren't in the same place. Taken back by the feeling that this could all go away. She said, baby, I would never do what those girls do. Funny how I'd only hear that when it benefited you.
Awesome, I don't hear anything I'd change, so we're moving on. So again, when you're starting on a new phrase that you haven't started, you want to go to track pitch.
Did I get too close? Didn't mean to have your true colors exposed.
We'll just do that much, because I have a feeling we're going to change the tracking speed once we get into the more aggressive vocals. So I'll just bang this out right here.
Did I get?
It's tough to sing low like that, so he nailed that for the most part. I'm just kind of tightening him up. Again, we want to keep the quality of the vibrato. We're just kind of tightening the pitch of it. We're pitch shifting.
Did I get too close?
This was a little flat, but I like the character of it, so I'm just going to move this up.
Did I get too close?
I don't really like, I'm going to move it back down a little.
Did I get too close? Didn't mean to.
Cool, so then I'm going to keep this.
Did I get too close? Didn't mean to have you
So I'm going to move that down.
Didn't mean to have you true.
So I'm going to tighten. This is a little sharp.
Didn't mean to have your true colors.
This is a little sharp.
Still didn't mean to have your true colors exposed.
So this is a little sharp, so we're just tightening. I'm not worrying about the attacks. That's what makes it sound natural. It's only if I didn't like the attack. But typically, it's the note you land on that needs to work and not the one you start with.
Still didn't mean to have your true colors exposed.
All right, let's print it and we'll double check our work.
Did I get too close? Didn't mean to have your true colors exposed.
Sounds good to me. All right, here comes the payoff. Let's just get into it. Let's see if it'll pick it up with the 21 speed. Sometimes you have to try 100. Sometimes you have to try 1. It really depends. So we're going to try it where it is.
Wait, did you ever take a moment just to think about anyone other than yourself? Give me back the love wasted now.
Damn, cool. All right, so let's get into it. It looks like it picked up everything great, which it really depends on the singer and the harmonics used and how much grit. It totally depends.
Wait.
So I like how that started. With gritty vocals, I like to sharpen them just a touch so they don't sound tuned.
Wait, did you?
Cool, so now we're gonna dig in. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit because again, it's that ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. So they're real tight percussive notes. And I want that to be really strong.
Wait, did you ever?
And sometimes you have to take it down to 1. Who cares? There's no rules.
Did you ever take a moment?
So right now you're tracing, you're coloring the lines in.
Did you ever take a moment just to think?
This one sounds a little flat.
Did you ever take a moment just to think?
So I like the attack here. It's a little flat. So I'm gonna take it here and then I'm gonna just sharpen this.
Did you ever take a moment just to think?
I love that.
Did you ever take a moment just to think about any?
Cool, so now I like how this is, but this attack, this release right here needs a little love.
About anyone?
Now this, you wanna be careful of this dip, because listen to the melody.
About anyone.
You don't want it to, if you do this, it's gonna sound like a machine a little bit.
About anyone.
It like starts to sound a little, you kind of start to fuck with the vowel.
About anyone other.
It sounds good, so what I like to do is just sharpen it a little bit.
About anyone.
So just focus more on the landing note and not necessarily the starting note.
About anyone other.
Cool, so I like how that sounds.
About anyone other.
Cool, so then with these notes, I mean, he pretty much fucking nailed this, like, goddamn. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I love the vibrato. You can't kill the vibrato. I'm gonna show you actually what it's like if you kill the vibrato. You kill the Johnny and you can't do that. Yeah. And that's what I always hear from people. So bring that back. It's the difference between good and great is what you make natural. And we're just gonna tighten this up. And so he kind of threw this note. So we're gonna need to help. We're gonna have to help build this attack.
Give me back the love. Back the love away. Back the love away.
I don't really like that. So we're gonna, and sometimes your move sucked. Like that move sucked that I just did. So what I'm gonna do is just start over with that one. So,
Back the love. Back the love.
and so I'm gonna try to build something from this. And let's see if it's stupid.
Back the love away.
So there's no attack. So what I want to try to do is build it with this.
Back the love away.
And obviously it sounds really tuned. So what I'm going to do is back it off. I'm going to take this and I'm going to back it off. And we're going to see if I was able to build that note.
Back the love away.
It's getting closer, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flatten this. I'm gonna sharpen that a little, and this is more of the complex stuff. That's very subjective. I'm gonna probably have to hear it in context a little bit. But it sounds natural. You don't want, so I like where it's sitting. Oh, hi. Welcome to what sometimes auto-tune can do. It'll freak you out too. Cool, so we combated that. Don't worry about the chipmunk stuff. If that happens, it's just a computer program having fun with you. Probably because a bunch of rocket scientists made this shit and they would just want to fuck with your day. But it's not permanent. You hit it a couple times, it'll go away. So notice how I did not play with the run because it's so special. Maybe I'll help kind of like reel that in. It's hilarious. Don't worry about it. It won't print like that, or you won't let it print like that. So I'm gonna take this. Don't mind the chipmunk. It doesn't happen that often, but if it does, don't forget about it. I'm gonna bring up the tail of this. Cool. So let's print it. If the chipmunk thing happens, we have a way to fix it. But
Wait, did you ever take a moment just to think about anyone other than yourself? Give me back the love now.
son of a bitch. Okay, so we'll just print it from here.
Give me back the love now.
Great. Now we have on camera Antares being a little bitch to us. So anyway, we combated it. Don't let those little things get you down. There's always workarounds. You just got to find them. Okay, so we have up to there. So what I'm going to do is just fade what we did, just so there's a couple little edits. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this back up. I like what we have. So what I'm going to do is get rid of it from the temp. And then I'm going to move this down, and we're going to work on this part. Oh, did I? Oh, there's one part left. Actually, let me just do that real quick. We'll just finish the end of this.
It's cruel to turn around. Give me back the love wasted now.
Cool. So we're going to work on that little guy.
It's cruel to
I like that. It might just help with the attack a little.
It's cruel to turn around.
And he nailed that note. So I'm just going to help with the vibrato. Again, you just bring it to about 40 or so.
It's cruel to turn around. Give me back the love.
So we go here.
Give
And then I think this guy needs to be here.
me back the love away.
And I like what happened here. I'm just going to help with the attack.
Give me back the love away.
So we're going to go like that.
Give me back the love wasted now.
Is it a little sharp? And I'm going to sharpen this guy a little, and we're going to focus on this note.
Give me back the love wasted now.
And I want that ending to be natural, so I'm going to let that go a little flat because it's a fall down.
Give me back the love wasted now.
So you don't want to fuck with those natural little things. That's what make it sound real.
It's cruel to turn around. Give me back the love wasted now.
Cool. So we're gonna put that up on this track. Slide it up. Get rid of the temp. And then we're gonna move on to this little blurb here. And what we do here is we want to clear all. So because we don't need this. We don't need any of this stuff. There's no reason to really keep it unless you want to be safe, but I don't think you need to. I call it burying the evidence. So you're like, I don't know what tuning you're talking about. You sang it like that. Now we go here and we're going to get the next track.
One day it's gonna get you, you're alone. I won't be there, I won't be there.
Cool, so we got one little line left and then we're done with this. And so it's a little sharp here, but the vibrato's sick. So again, I'm gonna peel it back to about 40. So this is sharp. I like where the attack is, but I'm just gonna bring it up a little. Bring it up a little bit, and I'm just gonna make sure these are consistent. So this is flat to me, so I'm gonna move that, and that's ear. It looks like it's on, but my ear tells me it's flat. Again, this, I'm gonna bring this up, because sometimes if you're not getting the note, it's the start of it that's out of pitch and not the landing. Again, I think we're close. So again, I'm gonna just iron this out. So he ends up going flat a little bit, so I'm gonna hang him out a little here. But I'm gonna let it fall naturally. So this is a little sharp. I'm gonna help with this, so I'm gonna bring this down so it feels a little crisper. And you want to help with the attack on this guy who's a little sharp. And again, it ends a little flat. Awesome, I like where that goes. So now we record it. One day it's gonna get you, you're alone. I won't be there, I won't be there. Awesome. So then I bring this up, get rid of this, get rid of that. Poof, what tuning? I have no idea what you're talking about. Hide and make it inactive. And there we have a tuned vocal that will be nearly pitch perfect and it will feel natural. So once I've put all the tuned vocals back into the normal tracks, I'm gonna add some reverb back in, and we're just gonna take a listen. Let's just vibe it out, make sure we didn't forget anything, make sure it sounds tuned, but also make sure it sounds natural.
I always felt uneasy when we weren't in the same place. Taken back by the feeling that this could all go away. She said, baby, I would never do what those girls do. Funny how I'd only hear that when it benefited you. Did I get too close? Didn't mean to have your true colors exposed. Wait, did you ever take a moment just to think about anyone other than yourself? Give me back the love we're wasting now. Come, one day it's gonna get you, you're alone. I won't be there, I won't be there. It's cruel to turn around. Give me back the love we're wasting now.
Cool, so we just listened to the track. I love how it sounds. And in the next part, I'll show you kind of what effects I add in after so we get the full picture.